Dear friends, welcome to this very powerful, incredibly important and valuable lesson dedicated to the 80/20ths rule. And before you think, hey bro, I know about this rule, let's talk about how much you actually apply it, and not just in the basic sense in which it's usually presented to us, like in terms of daily productivity, but how much are you able to apply it in different areas of your life? Because at one point, I'll tell you when later, I realized how the 80/20ths rule can be applied not just to your daily efficiency, but to all other areas as well. After that, I went and analyzed my various activities, applied the 80/20ths rule to them, and discovered a lot of great things that really simplify your approach to these matters, give you much better results, and help you stay consistent with them, friends. Today, we're going to talk about them. So, stay tuned until the end, friends. It will be 100% useful, and you'll definitely pick up a lot of great ideas. So, the 80/20ths rule, what does it mean? In the example that interests us in terms of productivity and efficiency, it means that 20% of your work will bring you 80% of the results. So, if you take 100% of all the tasks that you think you need to do in your life right now, 20% of those tasks will bring you 80% of the total results, while the remaining 80% will only bring you 20%. Accordingly, it makes the most sense to consciously analyze the different areas of your life and figure out where those 20% are for you. By focusing all your energy and attention on them, you'll be able to achieve 80% of the results, because there are two scenarios. The first scenario is that you don't even get to those crucial 20% and they go unnoticed by you, or at best you focus only a minimal amount of energy on them. That's why your 80% of results suffer and you end up with minimal outcomes. That's one problem. The second problem is that you might focus on those 80% that actually give you almost nothing. And because of that, this task or this area seems so complicated that you think, okay, maybe later. This keeps you from making it a regular habit because only things that are simple and clear can become part of your routine. If you have this crazy list of things you need to do to be successful at something, it immediately becomes easier to just forget about it all and do nothing. So these are the two problems we face if we don't clearly define for ourselves where our 20% is that brings 80% of the results. That's it, friends. Why do we need to do this? Now let's go through the 5 areas and how can we apply this rule to these 5 areas. Let's go, friends. Number 1 is your mission. The mission you wrote down, the mission you defined. It's very important to understand which 20% of what you are doing now, or maybe even not doing, you need to start doing those 20%. Those 20% of the work that you need to do and focus on, so that 80% of your mission, 80% of the result, is achieved and realized. Let's look at an example. My mission is to help men become better and more productive so they can live their best lives. If I keep focusing on the things I used to focus on before, which were my unimportant 80%, then even a whole lifetime might not be enough for me to achieve this mission, or I might only achieve it to a minimal extent. So what are these things? It's things like deciding where the logo should be placed on the clothing. It's trying to do some kind of financial accounting for the gym, which I used to have at one point. Number 3 is spending the whole day editing my photos after a photo shoot. Number 4 is spending the entire day picking out fabric for a new clothing collection. For example, if I analyze the process of achieving my mission according to the 20/80ths rule, I realize that none of these things are even close to my 20%. My 20% is creating useful, helpful content and developing awesome, helpful products. Those are the two things in which I am irreplaceable. 2 things I need to keep my focus on. Everything else cannot be my focus if I want to fulfill my mission. There are people who are professionals in their fields. Those who know how to design clothes, those who know how to handle finances, and so on. These people should be doing what they are professionals at. For example, someone has a personal accountant who manages several companies, and her mission is to help businesses thrive thanks to my top-notch work as an accountant, to help businesses prosper financially, thanks to my highly qualified work as an accountant. That is her mission. Let her fulfill her mission. I will help her by coming to her, and together we will start working. She will help me, and I will help her. Together we will fulfill our mission. My task, on the other hand, is to focus on creating content and products, books, courses, and so on. That's it. Just 2 things. When you start focusing on the main thing that brings 80% of the results and progress toward your mission, magic will start to happen in your life. Okay, that was the mission. I hope you've had some insights, some thoughts. Wow, now I definitely need to remove this, add that, and do more of this. So, identify the 20% and try to fill your whole day with those 20%. As much of your free time as possible dedicated to work and making progress toward your mission. Okay, daily goals. If you have 5 tasks, one of those tasks will always move you closer to your goal and the realization of your mission more than the other 4. So make sure you definitely complete that one. That's what we talked about. Finish the main thing. Finish the most important thing. Now things get interesting, because you may have never heard of applying the 80/20th rule to these areas at all. And I personally discovered these areas for myself. I realized, wow, how did I not notice this before? Workouts, friends, workouts. Now, because fitness has developed so much on YouTube, it might seem like in order to stay in shape, you not only need all sorts of crossovers, different gadgets, equipment, and so on and so forth, plus you might get the impression that you need to know at what angle the triceps works. How to do this exercise, how to press here correctly, bend there, and all that, right? But in reality, if your goal is to get in shape and stay in shape, if we're talking purely about workouts, then your 20/80th rule could be just 3 exercises. 3 exercises. Monday, for example, is pull-ups, 5 sets to failure. Wednesday is push-ups. Friday is squats, 5 sets to failure. Done. That's it. This could be your basic program. And the best program, the best workout program, is the one you can actually stick to and do on a regular basis. Often the simpler the program, the easier it is for you to start doing it. That's exactly why this basic program of 3 exercises can give you much better results than some crazy program where you thought, I'll start doing 5 insane days a week with like 20 exercises each day, and you did one day, thought, wow, that's a lot of exercises and I don't even have this machine or that machine. And that's it. That's it. You just give up. So, if you also think about your workouts like this, okay, 80/20ths, what's my goal? My goal is this. What will help me achieve this goal? Actually, I don't need that much. I don't need anything crazy. Maybe I don't even need a gym membership. What I really need are just 3 exercises. Push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. Maybe you'll do them. Push-ups, pull-ups, and squats all in one day. And your workouts will be on Wednesday and Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday twice a week. For whom? For a bodybuilder, of course. This won't be enough. They need much more than that. Or later on, you might want to progress further and make your and more challenging. But at the start, by choosing the 20%, it will help you eliminate everything unnecessary. Focus on the 20% and get started with your workouts, developing that habit. And then maybe you'll think, okay, I've developed the habit. Now I want something more, something different, a bit more variety. Yes, you can move on to some kind of program, but you'll develop the habit thanks to the 20%. Okay, that's about workouts, friends. Next, nutrition. By the way, this is where I found the benefit of applying the 80/20th rule to different areas. Nutrition. How? How did this happen? Friends, let me tell you a quick story. After my morning workout, I would make an omelet, and it just so happened that I didn't have any carbs at home. All I had was the omelet. I only had turkey, bacon, and cheese. I put it all together and thought, damn, there are no carbs here at all. And I supposedly know that it's best to eat carbs after a workout. And I think, damn, I really don't have any carbs. So, what should I do? I need to go to the store. I think, okay, right now I am a bit short on time. All right, I'll get ready, rush out quickly, and so on. Then I think, wait, bro, you know that when it comes to nutrition, your 20% is all about calories. It's all calories. It doesn't matter what you ate after your workout, or how many meals you split those calories into. It's not even that important where you got those calories from. What matters is how many calories you ate. If your goal is to lose weight, were you in a deficit? If your goal is to gain weight, were you in a surplus? That's all that matters. That's your 20% of nutrition. So don't stress about it. Just have your meals. Don't worry, bro. You can catch up with carbs later. And that's when I thought, damn, the 20/80th rule works so well here. I analyzed all areas. Nutrition, friends. So often we stress about whether we should have tea with sugar here or if we should have tea with honey there. But in reality, you know that the main thing is calories. Calories are always 70, even 80% of the result. It's calories. It's about how much energy you get from food. And so, when you take this as your foundation, you immediately think, oh, Oh, so some with this, some with that. Can you eat honey? Can you eat dates? It doesn't matter at all. How many calories do they have? Track it. If you can eat dates, but you ate 4 kilograms of them, and in total, that's 5,000 calories. Bro, you shouldn't have eaten the dates. It's simple. Can you have tea with honey? Well, if you dump 2 jars of honey into your cup of tea, then no, you can't. If you just put in 1 spoonful, then you can. Why? Not many calories. That's all there is to it. So, when you approach nutrition with the 80/20th rule, you immediately get it. Okay. The main thing for me is calories. Like when is it which meal did I manage to eat after my workout or did I not manage to eat after my workout? Sometimes you don't manage to eat after training and you think, damn yeah, then I guess I need to hurry or maybe I shouldn't eat after my workout. Why do I even need it at all? I just won't train at all. But when you use the 80/20th approach, everything is simple for you. Friends, that was about nutrition. Okay, and next, income. Income. Also, friends, it's incredibly useful. Sometimes, you can get amazing insights when you apply the 80/20th rule to your income. What brings me, or used to bring me, 70% of my income? Which of my businesses, which of my focuses, which of my jobs, which of my actions bring me 80% of my income? And just in this one question, you can find a huge number of insights. I spend a lot of time doing and focusing on this particular thing. But in reality, all my main income comes from this other activity. Why am I focusing here if this area is the one bringing me all my main income? If I took all this focus from here and shifted it to this direction, damn, I would just explode. I could even 10 times my income instead of trying to squeeze out some extra 12% here. That's it, I shift my focus. Boom. Crazy progress in income. Of course, there might be a situation where you are currently working somewhere that brings you your main income. But let's say you don't like what you are doing. You want to move into another field, and that field is bringing you the bare minimum right now. Yes. There is also the question of prospects here. What will bring you income in the long run? Absolutely. But very often this also applies when you are already base doing something you actually like. Maybe freelancing, running a business, or working on some projects. This is where this question can spark a lot of insights in your mind and completely change your focus and your way of working. Friends, these are the kinds of areas, friends, where you can apply the 80/20th rule right now after this lesson without leaving. And while your thoughts and insights are still fresh, I recommend, friends, that you focus on your mission and income. Take the first and last areas and run them through the 80/20th rule right now. Which 20% of your work brings 80% of the output results in income and progress toward your mission. And then you can apply this to all the areas that matter to you. But for now, right at the start with your fresh insights and thoughts on this topic of mission and income, go through it, write it down, record it, and implement it. Friends, thank you so much for watching. This is a truly powerful lesson. All these lessons are powerful, friends. All these tools are amazing. They can completely turn your life around and accelerate your progress from several years down to just a few months. It's very important to apply them. Apply them. It's not just about doing the exercises right away, but also about integrating them into your life. We've already talked about how to do this, friends. All our productivity systems, everything is scheduled. Everything is in one place. We know how to do this. The main thing is to take action. Let's go, friends. See you in the next lesson. Let's do this.